All right. Over in release, we've been working on creating a visualization of our 3-year vision. What we'll show you today is not at all a commitment of what we're going to be delivering in 3 years, but it's definitely something that we want to directionally accomplish with our collective teams between progressive delivery and release management. As an overview, we have 3 primary goals that we're trying to accomplish in the release stage. First, we want to offer a market-leading progressive delivery solution. Second, we want to automatically deploy to any environment. And we also want to support complex cross-project releases for the entire life cycle of a release, from creation to audit and everything in between. First up in this flow of our 3-year mocks is Arit. She'll be walking us through the idea of automating rollbacks with runbooks. Can you unmute?
That's a good idea, Jackie. So let me just repeat. These mockups are available under the release section, under ops, under the vision, general vision. You can find the mockups that we're talking about here. I'm gonna just do a full screen so everyone can see it. And if you need to go back after this and look into it, then feel free to do that. So the first thing that we want to talk about is this email notification that you will be receiving in case deployment has automatically rolled back. Now, what you can see in this thread is that you can see the exact deployment that was rolled back. And you can see the error that caused and triggered the rollback, and exactly the commit message that did it. So it's really easy to triage and fix the issues. You can then go ahead and press View Environment, which will bring you to the environment dashboard. Under the environment dashboard, you'll see there's a ton of different columns, and one of them is rollbacks. And you'll see here that the rollback was done for exactly that same commit that we saw in the email that we received with the same alert, but we'll also see some additions. So we'll see this notification that auto rollback was triggered. So you can see the notification. And you'll also see that 3 issues were created from failure to deployment. So if we click this, you can see there was an auto rollback triggered, and you can even go back and view directly in the runbook itself to see exactly what step in the runbook failed. So this brings you to the runbook, and you can see exactly the 3 issues that we saw before in the environment dashboard. So you can see exactly what was automatically generated. You can directly from here select an assignee, select a milestone, and even view the issue directly from the runbook itself. What you can also do is press here on auto rollback settings. And what this does is, imagine you're in a situation where you have repetitive rollbacks and you're just like, man, what's going on here? And you want to figure out what's going on. So you can go back to the rollback settings themselves and configure exactly which alerts are triggering these rollbacks. You may want to add or remove alerts accordingly. So this brings you directly to the setting where you can see auto rollback triggers. You can decide if this is going to be an automatic rollback, a manual rollback, and based on which alerts are you going to roll back. And this is specifically here is all the critical alerts, but you can also fine-grain them and define specific alerts that you want to trigger from. And it will always roll back to the last successful deployment. So next, what we can see is that in the Slack messages itself, you can see something similar to what we saw on the email notifications. So it's a similar layout. You can see which environment failed, who did the commit, exactly which deployment was the commit again, the alert that triggered it. And from here, you can go directly to the environment dashboard that we saw before. as I mentioned. So from here again, you don't have to go through the runbook itself to see the issues. You can see the issues directly from the environment dashboard itself. So you can see from here, you can also assign it from here. You can set a milestone from here. It's just saving you a bunch of clicks in order to take action as the minute you see the alert and the problem. I'm going back, so just 1 minute. Another really nice thing that we can do is, so I'm jumping back to the runbook. Once you see these incidents that were automatically created, you can take action on it. So you can acknowledge it, you can decide to ignore it, and you can also state the reason why you did either action. So we get all this log as the history of this runbook, and everything is also going to be written to the audit log. So we can get full compliance around this and know historically what happened for every deployment and even every rollback. Some things that I didn't mention yet, but are also really interesting to discuss. I'm going to go back to one of the pages here. Okay, so when the system automatically creates issues, for example, this resolve CVE issue, what this is actually going to do is it's going to suggest how to fix the error that's triggering this rollback. We want this to be as automatic as possible. So a reason for rollback may be a performance issue. It could be a security issue, a quality issue. So besides opening the issue, we're also going to suggest how to fix it. So in case of security, we'll give you exactly what patch to update. In case of quality, we can show exactly what tests are degraded. And since this is also linked to a specific commit, it's very contained and it's easy to figure out exactly what caused the problem and also to do the fix. Another thing that's really nice that's going to be connected directly into the runbooks itself is this concept of templates and deployment templates. So in case there's a repetitive problem in deployment, we can help you out by either suggesting different pieces to snippets to cut and paste into the YAML file, or even resources that just can be dragged and dropped and to fix your deployment pipeline, and even suggest that. So the idea is to solve the problem as quickly as possible and also suggest the remediation. Since this is an automatic flow, it also gives you a lot of peace of mind, thinking that the rollback is done automatically. You don't need to be on call. The system is self-sufficient. It's going to fix itself, and that'll give you some time to fix whatever problem is on your pipeline before you redeploy it again. So really excited to see this happening. It kind of brings in a whole lot of different sections into this deployment flow. So we have runbooks, we have alerts, we have post-deployment, a bunch of really cool stuff. And we're really excited to be working on it. And I'm going to pass it over to Jackie now.
I'm also super excited about that flow. I think it's going to be a really cool experience for our users that I've definitely seen them ask for. Next up, I'm going to walk through our second flow, which is about deployment approvals inside of GitLab from a runbook. So first up, let's say that I'm a release manager named Jane Doe, and I have an email notification for a pre-production deployment. In this 3-year vision, we're hoping users can access their pre-production deployments from an email notification, and then when they approve or reject those notifications, they're brought to GitLab, and in this view, there's a group release runbook, which allows them to view all the steps in a given release and find action each step. What's really neat about this runbooks view is that you can see there's some sequential steps here that are both manual, but also scripted actions. And you can run these various steps in order as needed. And conveniently, users can also see linked issues, much like what Orit was mentioning in her flow. Connecting incidents and connecting issues that have been created are instrumental for when you're sequentially following steps as a part of your release. So this will be a very handy feature to show the connected value of GitLab together in one view. Additionally, leveraging a discussion commenting thread allows users to open up thoughts on a run book and potentially document changes that they're wanting to make to their template as they move forward. So let's say I want to view the application of my deployment as the release manager. I'm going to click that view app and I'll see that I'm looking at this pending deployment for this application. And from this screen, I have the option to approve or reject. I'm going to approve this, and actually everything looks really good. So I'll also click the approve screen. It's a great way to add in users throughout your runbooks steps and ensure that the releases you're promoting to your production environment are satisfying expectations. This review app experience is really great because what we're hoping to accomplish is aggregating a batch of changes into a single review app, which will be a really cool way for people to view their deployments before they actually happen and interact with them. What's even better is that we're taking that pre-deployment approval and pulling it into the merge request where your developers and your engineering teams are working. This approval is on the merge request widget, easily accessed and documented, meaning that all the activity that can be tracked within the merge request as well as the runbook, bringing all of your teams together in one place for a particular release. And even more interesting is the place where you potentially have a feature behind a feature flag, and being able to view that feature prior to the feature flag being turned on in a particular environment in the review app, and the ability to then approve or reject that based on you testing that interaction. So let's say that this feature actually looks really good and I want to approve the release and also disable a feature flag. This is a really great experience for a user who isn't in the code, isn't in the pipeline, isn't in the merge request. They'll be able to approve and disable that particular feature flag. And just like on the previous screen, it'll be included inside the merge request view. So let's say that actually the feature flag didn't perform and you want to reject this deployment. These runbook steps also allow you to reject the pre-production deployment and say that it's not ready. If I click reject, it'll pull me to the merge request view and indicate that the pre-deployment has been rejected, and it adds my comment. We're also expecting to allow notifications from this particular view. So say that it gets rejected by me, and I want to notify all of the people on this thread so that they can make changes prior to us getting to the next step in our runbook. This flow is showcasing where we want to take review apps, runbooks, feature flags, and deployment approvals to enable governance while supporting teams to move seamlessly through their release process. In conjunction with some of the features that were presented, we're going to be creating a really first-class experience for release deployments and their processes inside of GitLab. This wraps up our 3-year vision for release stage. We're super excited. If you have any comments or questions, please reach out to us.